I guess first things first, I'll ask you about the news hot off the press. Hamza confirms to be leaving the club. Obviously, it's an unusual situation just a couple of weeks after it was announced that he'd signed a permanent deal. Could you shed any light on the situation about what's happened?
Yeah, obviously it was for family reasons. So his wife really didn't settle in, and she went back a couple of weeks ago, and he's got a young daughter as well, which he missed. So yeah, it was a difficult decision, but yeah, we have to show a bit of empathy, I think, in those situations. Not nice to lose him, but part of football, unfortunately. And you know the old saying, happy wife, happy life.
Just discussing that with Jamie before, but
yeah.
Obviously then something that, sounds like it probably needed to happen, even if it's not good for you. But on the pitch, how do you go about replacing him?
Yeah, well look, we have Terry hasn't played too many games, looking much better in terms of where he's come from over the last 12 months. So and the games that he has played off the bench has done quite well for us. So more than likely he will be close to a start, and Stevie Ilgagovic as well. So we've got a couple of replacements, and now that Hamza's gone, we still have an opportunity in this little window to potentially bring someone else in.
Look, freeing up Hamza's wages and that international slot from the playing squad, is it a case where you, as the coach, if it was up to you, you'd be bringing in a like for like, or are there other areas on the park which you prefer to reinforce with those resources?
No, well, I think we're a little bit light in the midfield anyway. So if we can find the right fit, within the constraints, obviously, and someone who fits the playing style, and also, every other player brings their own individual qualities to the team. If it's the right fit, then we certainly will grab it. Trying to find that fit in a short space of time is also not so easy, as you know.
Yeah. Looking at the Mariners game, obviously now back-to-back defeats for the boys, and I guess there was that sort of fracas at the end there, and I guess it's easy to read into that sense of frustration from your boys. A couple of defeats in a row, Mariners side that love to rub it in against them, that grand final. Do you feel there's a sense of frustration in the group?
No, I don't, Joey. That was a separate incident with Terry, and then all of a sudden it sort of sparked up. So that really just came out of nothing, and then there was another thing going on with Storm Ruin and obviously Tolly. So yeah, I'm actually glad that we were in the middle of it, because I'd be more concerned if they weren't. So everyone's trying to stand up for each other. I think that's important.
So sort of AFL areas, you're glad the boys have got in and flew the flag for each other and made sure.
Well, you have to,
back
Joey.
down?
Yeah, 100%. You have to. Look, they are a close group. Yeah, we're having some difficulties at the moment with obviously the results. We're playing really well in patches, and then letting ourselves down in just some areas which we're getting punished for at the moment. So again, we need to just continue to improve and continue to make sure that we're not making those same mistakes. I think every team goes through those periods anyway. The frustrating part from my side, or from the coach's point of view, is we're going down to our third game against the teams that were on level points, big games in terms of taking that next step to get yourself into second or third place, and we fluffed 2 occasions, and we've got another challenge and that opportunity against Adelaide tomorrow.
Because Adelaide, you are right, level on points, you basically level on goal difference, you level on wins now, as important as that is. But Adelaide's always been a side who have given City trouble. Even when City was at their imperious best, it always felt like they were going to get a game against the Reds, and Adelaide were liable to take points off them at some point or another. How are you preparing for Adelaide tomorrow evening?
Yeah, we've obviously got a shorter prep this time, Joey. We travelled on Monday. We got back from Central Coast late afternoon on Monday. So yesterday was a recovery. So we're still in a bit of a recovery phase, and we have obviously have to do a little bit of tactical work this morning, and we still have some sore bodies. So it's a tricky one because we've got such a short turnaround. It's been only 4 days really. You take away the travel day, that's only 3 days to the game. So we really have to be a little bit more switched on in certain moments. You know, like the goals we gave away on the weekend. You know, they certainly were avoidable, and that's one, positioning and being a little bit more aggressive on the ball. You know, really basic things that we just haven't done very well.
Of course, that short turnaround, it's in a pretty sharp contrast with Adelaide, who, because of the Western United ground situation, haven't played since Unite rounds. Yeah. But I guess, do you try to frame that as a positive? They've been sitting around, maybe getting rusty, whereas you'll have some sort of at least rhythm, even if if the boys haven't been able to rest as much as you'd like.
Yeah, who knows? Joey? You know, sometimes a longer break can work against you. Sometimes a longer break you have more chance to freshen up, to do a lot of work. Every team is different in that aspect. And sometimes after a loss, I think a quick turnaround and getting prepared for the next game is sometimes the best thing.
Because Adelaide, they had that helter-skelter game against Sydney their last time out, and I guess what did you make of that game, and what have you made of the Reds' form all season, albeit acknowledging that they're without their starting goalkeeper now because he's in Doha? Yeah,
I thought they started off well, and I was at the early games at home, and then they had a bit of a downward period, but I think now they're really starting, especially after the last couple of weeks, they're really starting to get back to what is really good form. Iwazuki, for example, is starting to hit a nice patch of form. Clough, who had a difficult season last year, after the one whole year, is a much better player now. You know, bring in the fullbacks, Bovalina, for example, young, exciting kid, lots of energy. Irukunda, you know, they certainly got some weapons, and they like to be quite direct in terms of, you know, there's not too much mucking around with Carl. You know, there's one or two passes in midfield, and then bang, they're ready to go in behind. So that's going to be a challenge for us for sure.
Because I mean, Michael ripping you away from your barbecue to come and coach Melbourne City earlier in the season in Adelaide, would you say that maybe outside of what you've seen from City now, Adelaide's the side that you're most familiar with, being there in your background and getting to see them up close over the years?
Yeah, I watch them. Obviously, being from Adelaide, I've watched them a hell of a lot and been there quite a bit. Yeah, you don't know the ins and outs. It's not that I was at their training sessions, but you know, they certainly have some very, very good qualities, like most teams. And we have to be better in terms of me always thinking about what we need. You know, the opposition, we understand what they bring, and we've analysed them to the best of our abilities and trying to nullify their strengths. But you're not going to stop every action. It's impossible. So it's those moments there when you're not stopping those their strong points that we need to regroup and work together, and there's going to be some bumps along the way during the course of the game, as there are in most games. And we just have to manage them better. You know, like for example, we're at 1 each against Central Coast on the weekend, and you know, we got a fair bit of momentum. And of course, our philosophy is always looking for that winning goal, and we look for 2, we look for 3. But at the 87th minute, 88th minute, you got to manage the game a little bit better than what we've been doing. So they're learning experiences for us. Important thing is, if we've learned, we understand it, then that's all well and good. It's when we don't learn and put it into practice, which is a problem.
And health and fitness wise, how are the boys heading into this game? Do you expect to be absent anybody that was there for the Mariners game, getting anyone back?
No one back. It was important Andy got 45 minutes, although he did pull up a little bit sore and is a little bit slower to recover. But we knew that. He's progressing really well. So again, it's just about trying to get him in the next couple of weeks some more and more minutes. Then we have Nuno. He couldn't travel last week because his wife's expecting a baby any second. So he didn't travel last week for that reason. And she's due today, tomorrow. So probably more than likely, depending if anything happens prematurely in terms of today, which I don't think. I think it's all booked in for tomorrow. Then he won't be there either. And Sammy's recovering really well. Marin's recovering really well. Probably, I would say within a week or two, they possibly both be ready for place in the squad somewhere. So Marin's probably a little bit closer, so which is good. It's only been a couple of weeks for him, which we thought it was going to be a little bit longer. So who else? Lex is the other one who's Lex again. He has his final scan, I think tomorrow. And if that's all clear, then he's done a hell of a lot of work. Even now, I've been stretching out a lot more and getting to higher speeds, which he's quite used to now. Scan tomorrow. If it's all clear, then we'll have a plan in place to get him back within the group pretty quickly.
So that's maybe the Perth game that you may be looking at for Lex?
Yeah, I think that was the initial target. So again, the good thing after this game, Joey, we've got a longer break, so all those boys should be able to train with the group for the whole week, and then that'll give us probably a better perspective of where they're at.